LeBron is now ranked in individual defensive win share, something you would have dominated. He's ranked 426th in the NBA, almost to the bottom.
Enough right now. That's the part that bothers you a lot. We don't care enough to do the things that are necessary. We don't care enough to be a professional.
Are you a smart guy? I think so. I think so, right? So we don't defend home court. What happens?
Oh man, he's look at him at this point. What am I really proving? He's playing with his son. Yeah, that's it. But
the 2025-26 NBA season represents a defining crossroads for the Los Angeles Lakers, a franchise currently caught between the fading twilight of one era and the rising dawn of another. On one side stands the established but rapidly declining legacy of LeBron James. On the other, the ascending primetime dominance of Luka Dončić. The acquisition of Doncic in February 2025 wasn't simply a roster move, it was a declaration of intent, a complete shift to a new timeline. History shows us a clear pattern with LeBron. He maximizes his leverage to extract every possible resource from a franchise, only to walk away when the cupboard is bare, leaving the organization devastated in his wake. The Lakers now have a rare window to flip the script entirely, to reverse the situation by proactively trading James, recouping valuable assets, clearing massive cap space, and fully unlocking the Luka era without any baggage holding them back.
Enough right now. That's the part that bothers you a lot. We don't care enough to do the things that are necessary. We don't care enough to be a professional.
The team is stuck in an impossible situation, trying to serve two masters from two completely different eras simultaneously. You've got LeBron at 41 years old carrying that enormous $52.6 million salary, and he's, whether intentionally or not, suffocating the entire Luka era before it can even truly begin. This current roster construction is built to fail from the ground up. Let's start with the on-court dynamics, because that's where the friction becomes immediately obvious. The theoretical pairing of LeBron James and Luka Dončić was built on the premise of overwhelming playmaking intelligence, two basketball geniuses operating in perfect harmony. In practice, however, the 2025-26 season has exposed a glaring tactical incompatibility that cannot be ignored. We're talking about two ball-dominant superstars, often called heliocentric players, two guys who need the basketball in their hands to run an effective offense. You've got Luka in his absolute prime right now. His entire game is predicated on sky-high usage rates, methodical pick-and-roll manipulation, and the ability to dictate every aspect of the offensive tempo. LeBron James, despite being 41 years old, still needs to be the primary engine and remains a ball-dominant player who simply struggles to impact winning without the ball in his hands. The fundamental problem is that James currently lacks Luka's elite-level isolation efficiency and perimeter creation ability at this advanced stage of his career. When James initiates the offense, Luka gets relegated to a spot-up role, essentially turning him into an incredibly expensive catch-and-shoot player, which is an absolute waste of his generational talent. Conversely, when Doncic runs the show, James' lack of elite catch-and-shoot volume and his tendency to remain completely stationary on the perimeter allows defenses to pack the paint and shrink the floor. It effectively turns 5-on-5 basketball into 4-on-5, and that absolutely kills your offensive pace and spacing. Head coach Redick has publicly acknowledged that the team's offense devolves into completely random possessions and lacks any real organization when James is on the floor.
Since we've gotten Bron back, we haven't been as organized offensively, too many random possessions, so that's on me. So it's those three things, defensive clarity, role clarity, and offensive organization.
The modern NBA demands a frantic pace, particularly in transition, to consistently exploit defensive mismatches. Luka, while methodical in half-court sets, excels at finding open shooters in transition opportunities. James, however, frequently slows the game down to conserve energy, or, even worse, fails to run the floor entirely on made baskets. This massive disparity creates a completely disjointed rhythm where the team cannot possibly establish a consistent offensive identity. The Lakers are essentially attempting to play two fundamentally different styles of basketball at the same time: the Luka ball spread pick-and-roll system and the LeBron ball matchup hunting approach. The result is pure mediocrity across the board. This completely undermines everything Redick is trying to build. When your highest-paid players are standing around playing your turn, my turn basketball, the entire offensive system falls apart. It's a ticking bomb for any coach trying to implement a cohesive system.
Making the choice, and too often we have guys that don't want to make that choice. And it's pretty consistent who those guys are. And so Saturday practice, I told the guys, it's going to be uncomfortable. The meeting is going to be uncomfortable. I'm not doing another 53 games like this.
And this brings me straight to the statistics, which are absolutely jaw-dropping. The most damning evidence against the LeBron James pairing exists in the advanced metrics. The team simply performs better when James is off the floor compared to when the younger core operates without him dragging them down. The net rating analysis forms the core of this entire argument. When you isolate the pairing of Luka and AR-15, just those two, completely untethered from LeBron James, you get a net rating of plus 15.3. This indicates a genuinely dominant, cohesive unit performing at an elite level. That's championship-caliber basketball right there. Plus 15 is an absolutely elite number by any standard. However, simply adding James to this specific duo causes the net rating to absolutely plummet to minus 2.2, a catastrophic swing of 17.5 points per 100 possessions. This isn't statistical noise or a small sample size fluke. This is a clear, undeniable signal. James is no longer an additive piece to the Lakers' best lineups. He's become a subtractive one, actively hurting the team's performance. His presence on the floor cannibalizes the spacing and offensive fluidity that Luka and Reaves naturally generate together. The Lakers are essentially playing with a massive handicap when their highest-paid player is on the court, forcing the offense to constantly reset and the defense to scramble unnecessarily. They go from a championship-caliber core to a lottery-level team just by adding one player. Think about that for a second.
Major props to Austin Reaves, who played a majority of last year as the best, third option in the entire National Basketball Association. What an indictment against the Sacramento Kings. No LeBron, no Luka, and you're a team with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine on the same squad, and you get outshined by Austin Reaves?
The idea that Austin Reaves has actually surpassed LeBron as the team's second most impactful player behind Luka, the evidence is genuinely undeniable when you examine it closely. When James plays, Reaves is forced to defer constantly, often standing in the corner waiting or attacking late in the shot clock when nothing else is available. This marginalization of Reaves is a complete strategic failure by the organization. Trading James immediately hands Reaves the keys to the co-pilot seat, right beside Luka, transforming the offense from a crowded, dysfunctional cockpit into a streamlined fighter jet. Two pilots, one crystal-clear mission. While offensive statistics typically dominate these discussions, the primary reason the Lakers look so bad right now is the complete collapse of their defensive integrity, a failure that begins and ends with LeBron James. It's obvious to anyone with at least one functioning eye that James routinely conserves energy on the defensive end, resulting in consistently missed rotations, a complete lack of box-outs, and a failure to transition back on defense after missed shots. This lack of fundamental effort was highlighted vividly after the Christmas Day blowout loss to the Houston Rockets, 119-96. Head coach J.J. Redick's post-game comments were absolutely scathing.
All the time. It's not, again, it goes back to what I said the other night. It's a matter of making the choice. And too often we have guys that don't want to make that choice. And it's pretty consistent who those guys are.
While Redick did not explicitly name James in his comments, the implication was perfectly clear to everyone watching. When the team's supposed leader and highest-paid player consistently fails to run back on defense, it establishes a ceiling on the maximum effort level of the entire roster. Younger players follow the veteran's example, and that example is killing them. James' defensive decline forces the Lakers into an impossible schematic bind, with Luka already being a player who requires significant defensive insulation and help. The Lakers simply cannot afford a power forward who offers virtually zero resistance at the point of attack or rim protection. Trading James allows the Lakers to acquire a legitimate defensive-minded wing or forward, players like Jimmy Butler or Andrew Wiggins who can actually take the toughest defensive assignments night after night. This would immediately restore defensive structural integrity and properly protect Luka, much like the Mavericks successfully did during their 2024 finals run. Beyond all the tactical and statistical arguments I've laid out, the financial case for trading LeBron James is absolutely irrefutable. In this era of the second apron luxury tax penalties, the opportunity cost of James' massive contract is the single biggest obstacle to meaningful roster improvement. The tenure of head coach J.J. Redick is currently in serious jeopardy, a situation directly exacerbated by the presence of LeBron James on this roster. Multiple rumors indicate that Redick is actively losing the locker room and player buy-in. Redick was partially hired due to his pre-existing relationship with James. They co-hosted a podcast together. But this relationship has become a complete double-edged sword, cutting both ways.
JJ, I don't know if you noticed or not, bro. Them dudes don't respect you. You are their peer. They are not, just because you have the head coach title, they don't look at you as such. If they did, they'll play hard. They'll get back on defense. Once you address the crying every possession to the refs with Luka and Austin Reaves and LeBron, if you address it once, if they respect you, they'll go out their way to try to change it because you are a new voice in there.
To be genuinely effective, any coach must hold all players equally accountable, regardless of status or salary. However, when Redick publicly chastises the team for lack of effort, as he did after that Houston loss, the message rings completely hollow if the primary culprit, James himself, remains immune to any real consequences or accountability. The younger players naturally look to LeBron for behavioral cues and leadership. When LeBron blatantly ignores the coach's explicit demands for defensive effort and transition running, the coach effectively has zero authority with anyone else on the roster. You can't demand accountability from role players when your superstar is exempt. A complete shakeup might be exactly what the Lakers desperately need right now. Trading James represents the ultimate shakeup and organizational reset. It immediately clarifies the roster hierarchy and removes any ambiguity about direction. Removing James eliminates the shadow government of clutch sports influence that permeates the locker room, finally allowing Redick to implement his system without any fear of reprisal or being undermined. If the Lakers genuinely want Redick to succeed as their head coach, they must give him a roster that actually matches his core philosophy of maximum effort and precise execution. Traits that 41-year-old James simply can no longer provide on any consistent basis. Typically, teams wait passively for James to decide his own future, completely paralyzed by the hope that he'll choose to stay. This passivity has historically left multiple franchises with nothing but empty cap space and devastating memories of wasted years. By trading James right now, before he becomes an unrestricted free agent or simply retires, the Lakers completely flip the script on this dynamic. They extract tangible value from his inevitable departure rather than suffering through it helplessly. They dictate the terms of the breakup rather than being victims of it. This prevents the Lakers from becoming the next casualty left in the wake of James's Hall of Fame career. If the Lakers commit to trading LeBron James, the market for his services is actually quite specific and limited. The most logical trade partner, as extensively rumored and analyzed by prominent experts like Bill Simmons, is the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors are absolutely desperate to maximize the final competitive years of Stephen Curry's career before his window closes completely. The pairing of LeBron James and Steph Curry represents the holy grail of NBA storylines, promising absolutely massive revenue streams and a completely reinvigorated championship window for Golden State's fanbase. the Lakers could reasonably demand a return package centered around Jimmy Butler if the Warriors acquire him via a complex three-team deal, plus significant draft capital and picks. Jimmy Butler brings elite two-way defense, proven championship toughness, and secondary playmaking ability that fits absolutely perfectly alongside Luka and Reaves. He would immediately enforce the culture and accountability that Redick desperately wants to establish. For LeBron, this trade offers a comfortable soft landing with his close friend Curry, and a genuine chance to compete for one more title in a completely different environment with less pressure. The Los Angeles Lakers are currently engaged in a completely futile attempt to serve two incompatible masters simultaneously: the fading past glory of LeBron James and the untapped future potential of Luka Dončić. Trading LeBron James is admittedly a radical proposition that will generate massive controversy and debate, but it is the only move that clears the financial books, restores genuine accountability throughout the organization, and allows the Lakers to finally turn the page towards their future rather than clinging desperately to their past. The time for sentimentality and nostalgia is over. The Lakers must trade LeBron James.